My name is Jack Gill. I am a stuntman, stunt coordinator, and action director. I started on Dukes of Hazzard driving the General Lee. I was Bo Duke's stunt double. And then I did Knight Rider with David Hasselhoff, and I was the stunt coordinator, the stunt double, kit, and the executive director. And then I started doing Fast and Furious movies with Spiro Rosatos and my brother Andy Gill. I did the Jumanji movie. Worked on Hook with Spielberg. I was the liquid metal guy in Terminator 2. It's tough in our business. It's really tough. I've broken my back twice, my neck once, 23 broken bones, cut my finger off, had to have it sewn back on, punctured both lungs, broke this shoulder 4 times, this shoulder twice. I've got pins and screws in all parts of my body and a titanium plate in my neck. If you do the big stunts and you do them for 20 years, you're gonna get hurt. I was actually born in Springfield, Massachusetts, but we moved around a lot. My dad was in the Air Force. He mostly flew cargo airplanes in Vietnam and North Korea. He would fly troops in and out and drop tanks and drop equipment. And we used to go out with him on dirt runs when I was a kid, and you'd see these big, huge C-124s come in, and the back cargo gate would drop down, and this Jeep would come out with a parachute and drag it out, and they'd drive it away. Back then, that was the coolest stunts I'd ever seen. I started racing motorcycles when I was almost 11, 12 years old. I became a pro at 14 years old, still in high school. I got my big break when I was racing motorcycles. I had won this race down in Florida, and my picture was in the local paper. And I was checking out of a Holiday Inn, and a big stack of paper was there, and this guy was checking out next to me, and he looked over and said, "Hey, is that you?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "You won all those races?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "You're pretty good on a motorcycle." And I said, "I guess I am." He goes, "You think you can jump a motorcycle over a bunch of burning cars?" And I went, "Yeah, I think I can do that." And he goes, "All right, come out to California in a week and we'll put you to work." And it was Hal Needham, who is a very famous stuntman, stunt coordinator, action director, and then he was a famous director from Smokey and the Bandit and Hooper. After that, I get a call. He goes, "You want to come do Cannonball with me?" So I went and did Cannonball 1 with him. I did Cannonball 2 with him. And then I did Megaforce with him.
The ultimate spectacle. Megaforce.
That was my big break. And at the time, I didn't realize how monumental it was. 8 to 9 years to 10 years into it, I got this idea that Hal Needham should win an Oscar. And I started pushing the Academy to try and bring him in to win a governor's award. When it finally came to fruition, I was at the ceremonies.
One last thing. I want to thank the entire Hollywood community for allowing me to be part of it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And he came back to the chair and said, "Well, kid, I guess it's a good thing I got you in the business, right?" It was October of 1982, and it was a big Malibu fire. And a friend of mine at the time, Bruce Jenner,
one of the greatest athletes in the world,
I say Bruce now because he was Bruce back then, but Caitlin is still a good friend of mine. And we talk about this all the time. Bruce was married to Linda Thompson, and they had gone to Tennessee. He said, "Hey, can you just keep an eye out on my house while I'm gone?" And I said, "Sure." My wife and I started watching the TV.
Breaking news. Crews are trying to get a handle on the devastating fires raging across Malibu. Police road closures are in effect along Pacific Coast Highway.
It was getting very close to his subdivision. So I get Bruce on the phone, and as I'm talking to him, I said, "I think I can get through to your house, but I can only get out a few things. What do you want me to get?" And his immediate response was, "Get the baby pictures that are lining up the walls, going up the main staircase, and then get my gold medal, which is under my bed." So I said, "Okay," and I put a backpack on and a fire suit. I jumped on this motorcycle that I had, and I started racing down toward Malibu. when I got down there, the police had all the streets blocked off. And I knew I wasn't going to get past all these policemen because they were turning away everybody. So I got kind of close to them and then cut hard right and went up in the grass and went around them and went taking off and grabbing gears, and they jumped in their car and they started coming out after me. It got a lot more smoky after about the first quarter mile. And that's when the police turned around. And I went on into the subdivision and got into Bruce's neck of the woods. The wind was blowing at probably 50 or 60 knots, and there was a lot of debris in the air. I turned my motorcycle around, got to the house, got all the pictures off the walls, and then I went up and got his gold medal, which was in a nice little case, and I checked and opened it and made sure it was in there, closed it up, put it in the backpack, and then loaded everything on my motorcycle and got ready to go. And then in the garage was this big, huge firefighting water pump. So I pulled this thing out and I stuck one big hose into the pool. And I said, you know what, I think if I can get on the roof of his house, I can wet down all the trees around the house. And I cranked it up and primed it, and all of a sudden this thing starts shooting 100 feet of water, and it's really hard to hold. So for the next 3 hours, I sat up on top of the house fighting this fire, and I was breaking tiles. And most of the houses around Bruce's house were all burned down by the time I got everything out around the house and the fire had gone by us. And his neighbor started screaming, "Get off the top of there, you gotta get off the top of the house." My garage has got 5,000 rounds of ammunition and it just went up. And I went around to the backside of Bruce's chimney and just sat over the other side of the chimney for the next 45 minutes while these gunshots went off. So then I came back out, I got on the motorcycle and rode out of there, and then 2 days later, Bruce came home and we went back to the house and took a look at everything. And when she heard that I had a fire suit on and I was on top of the house, it was hilarious. We literally laughed about that for hours. The adrenaline is what drives me more than anything.